slipped away. One street over where my memories exist. I wondered what would change. I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded black dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
You can get here this weekend. You're going to want to be here. Hi, I'm U-Turn LaVern. This is One Street Over, 1100 WSGI. Welcome to it. Oh, this is Christmas Sampler Weekend. It is iconic. It is historic. How many years we've got in the house? Caroline Carter, Norma Beck is here, and we're going to talk sampler today and just all the things. I remember when I first moved to Robertson County, and I was like, what's a Christmas sampler? And in November, before Thanksgiving, what are y'all doing? But it's so cool because if you're Christmas shopping and you want to get in front of this, and the bigger my family gets, I Christmas shop all year. You have to, because my family is growing in leaps and bounds, and you're just like, it's just too frazzled when you've got a big family. So you guys are really, I think, the first thing out of the gate, really, when it comes to Christmas, I don't know, like the Christmas sampler. I love what y'all call it, but like you'll go to the little vendor festivals and things like that, the Christmas markets, those kinds of things. You guys are really the first thing out of the gate, and it truly. When I first moved here, I was like, what? And how long has this been going on, ladies?
This is the 45th year.
Wow. And I'll need y'all to get right up on those microphones. I should have had that conversation with y'all before we turned the mics on, but you get right up on those microphones, and y'all see how close I get in them. You can move them around and talk right into them. But it just 45 years. What started this? I know the story, but we got a lot of new people in Robertson County, and they don't really know the backstory of what the Christmas Sampler is all about, the fundraising, what it's for, the charity that it's for, because it's really just a cool backstory. And so one of you guys want to unpack that for us? Go ahead, Norma.
Okay, I'm going to share the history of the Glen.
Okay.
In 1902, Ms. Molly Glenn purchased the house on the lot of the corner of Fifth Avenue and Walnut Street. The old house was torn down, and the present two-story brick residence was constructed. In 1946, the Glen home was left for a library and a clubhouse by Ms. Glenn, and she left specific instructions in her will as to how this was to be carried out. So the first library in Springfield was in the Glen. You entered in a side door. My husband tells stories. He remembers his mom taking him there. And you went in the side door. And for, I think, about 26 years, that was the Springfield Library.
Wow.
And then the new library was built, I think, around 1969.
Oh, wow.
The rest of the house was used for club meetings. The Right now we have 6 clubs who meet at the Glen. They are the Daughters of the American Colonists, the Century Club, the DAR, the RCCW, which is the Robertson County Career Women, the Short Story Club, which Mrs. Glenn was a part of,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wednesday Study Club all meet there. So all of those clubs promote social, cultural, education, and philanthropic interests in the city of Springfield. So this has been our meeting place since 1946. So about 1978, before that, the Glen had totally existed and paid the bills through club membership.
Mm-hmm.
And as prices were rising, that was becoming difficult. So the first sampler was in 1979. Ms. Ann Quarles, who lived right over here from the radio station for a
fun.
long time.
Okay.
She was the first chairman. Sarah Barber was the Federation president at that time. And they came up with the idea of having the Christmas sampler.
Mm-hmm.
And who would have thought that it would last 45 years? But it seems like every year there's just more interest, new vendors, keeping up with the times, what's the end gift to have and to buy and give. So that's kind of the background of how we got started.
And it's fun, guys. It's one of those things. If you don't want it to sneak up on you and be like, oh, it was this past weekend. And I didn't. So we're reminding you right now, you need to get out there. And it's just, there's competition for different baked goods because they'll sell out of some things. There's a cinnamon bread thing that everybody's trying to grab. And I got some last year and it was wonderful. And is that yours? Cinnamon
Yes,
bread? Oh,
yes.
I had some of that last year. It's very good. And because they told me to be sure and come and get your cinnamon bread.
Well.
So I came Friday night to make sure I got some cinnamon
Well,
bread.
it'll
This is
be
what I
there
got.
again.
Wonderful. Because that's one of my, cinnamon is something that is just iconic for me. At Christmas, of course, you just got to have it. And I had a sweet friend that gave me some cinnamon bread when I first moved here. And so I kind of associate that with my welcome to Robertson County. You know, because when we first, that was in 92. But, I kind of associate that with my adopted hometown. And I just love that. So isn't that sweet? I love that. And when I got there, I was like, there's baked goods everywhere and all kinds of stuff. With Thanksgiving really just around the corner,
Right.
you can go buy some stuff, throw it in the freezer. And I personally, a lot of baked goods are better when they come out of the freezer. And because as they thaw, that moisture there's some things, a lot of things that I think do wonderful out of the freezer, and it'll save you some baking time. Because I don't know about y'all, I'm super busy right now, and it's just if you can come and take care of some of your baking needs and your gift giving needs and some decoration ideas. It's a blast. It is so much fun. And
And last year, by 3:00 on Saturday, we were almost totally sold out from our Federation booth where we have the baked goods and canned goods and
Oh,
all
really?
that. So come on and get it while you
better
can.
And the Friday's kind of a sneak peek, really, isn't it? Tell me how, because that's one thing I didn't really understand, is that it's really a Saturday event. But then, because did you always do the Friday, or was that something you brought in kind of later on?
That was
wasn't it?
brought in later.
That's what I thought. What happened with that? Why did you start doing that Friday night sneak peek? When
One
did that start?
thing was to give the vendors more
Okay.
hours
Yeah.
and more time for people to buy. And then we did kind of push it as a premiere night
Mm-hmm.
where that ticket was $10.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday's ticket $5.
Okay.
Now the Friday ticket is for Friday and Saturday too,
Right.
but to get in on Friday night,
It's $10.
yeah.
But it's well worth it. $10 ticket for just Saturday is worth it. I mean, you go to some of these Christmas festival type things and Christmas markets in Nashville, you pay $10 to get in. Absolutely, to get in the door. And I mean, so it's just fun. It's at the center. And how many? Okay, so Caroline, it's your turn to talk. How are you doing? You gotta speak up too. Do you know how many vendors you got this time?
There, excuse me, there are over 70
Wow.
booths there that are planning to come. Would you like to
Yes.
hear about some
Let's
of
hear
them?
about some of them.
We have, first of all, we'll talk about the food booths.
Okay.
We've got 2 food booths, Whit's Barbecue and Sis's Fried Pies Catering, that are sit-down places with tables.
So you can
You
have
can
lunch,
sit down and have your lunch.
dinner, whatever. Yeah.
There are suitors, I suppose, suitors, sweet treats, hazy, Haven honey, Cumberland Valley coffee, Old Sarge's jerky, S&S Bakery with sourdough and sweets,
Oh yeah.
and Sweet Tastics. So there's going to be plenty of food to walk around and buy. We have the vendors. We have quite a few, but I'll just name a few.
Do you have something that's new and super unique, you think, this year? Do you have something that's just kind of jumping out at you? that
Well, I
you're
don't know. We
Okay.
won't know until
you
we
see it. Yeah, I
until we
gotcha.
get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of these have been coming for a long time.
Yeah.
Some are new,
Right.
so we don't know what they are.
Right.
Southern Threads, excuse me, is one of them that is always nice. There's a boutique on Main Street
Oh yeah, they're
in
great.
Springfield, downtown Springfield, and they have a booth. They'll have men's and women's clothing, a lot of UT. They should have. I don't know exactly what they'll bring
Yeah.
to the booth, but in their store, in their shop, they have a lot of UT items, items for the home, and
They'll have Robco stuff. You know,
Yes,
they'll have-
probably
they,
so.
They usually have a lot of really cool Robco stuff because that's our kind of that's our moniker, Robco.
yeah.
And Robertson County, y'all, you get it? Okay. So you see Robco, but you see really cool Robco stuff there. And go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Well,
interrupt
no,
you.
that's anytime you want to interject, that is fine. There'll be baby items, things. That's what they sell. It's a great store. There's a booth called Lewis Pottery and Glass, and according to their pictures, they have tobacco leaf
Oh, fun.
platters that they in the
Oh,
ceramics.
fun. That would be a great item for my kids for Christmas.
The Robertson County Historical Society will have a booth, and I'm hoping there'll be lots of Robertson County items
I got
there.
to chime in there because that's when I had Danny Ashley in here yesterday. And if you've not, I mean, this would be a great idea, catching the museum during their hours. Sometimes their hours are a little bit difficult to get there during the day, especially if you're like me, I'm teaching school. But this will be a great chance to see the stuff in their gift shop because they've done a fabulous job of doing, like you said, Robertson County items. I've got all my children, this is their hometown. And I get them something that's Robertson County oriented every year as part of their Christmas. And a lot of the times I get it, most all the time I get it there at the gift shop in the museum.
Well, and they're beautiful items.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful items.
Absolutely. And our history, it's just good stuff. They have so many things. So yeah, they're a great source if you want to do.
They have a new sweatshirt,
Oh, do they?
Rob County,
Robco. Yeah.
with the tobacco leaf on it
Oh.
and the prettiest fall colors.
Ooh, I got to
And
get in there.
I think they're
Okay.
going to be bringing those to the
Okay.
sampler.
I got to get in there right away because I'm a sweatshirt girl because I'm freeze all the time. So I love that. I love that sound of that. So, but go ahead. What else have you got there?
There is a local, a lady, Norma knows her, Suzette Michaels. She's a Christian music artist, but she's also an artist, does
fun.
beautiful artwork.
Okay.
And she's obviously here in Springfield, and she will have a booth. Creations by Chris is another local
And just
person.
wonderful stuff from her.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just beautiful.
It's a little boutique
I'm
with
familiar with them.
yeah,
Yes.
with ladies, children's clothes, purses, jewelry, shoes, home items, and offer screen printing and embroidery. And then Browns Fork Woodworks. James Owens is a very good, fabulous woodworker. And he's down the road here. And he uses usually wood, creates things out of wood, maybe that's been in a tree that fell in his yard. I bought something that was a tree that fell in their yard, that was a tree that was very special to his mother-in-law. Special memories
Yeah.
to his mother-in-law, and he made some beautiful things out of it.
Does he do furniture or just like?
I think it's just woodworking, just bowls and trays. things like that.
I have a wood repair on a piece of furniture that I need done. I wonder if he could do that.
You could ask him.
Yeah,
He'll be at his booth is usually at the right before you go into the catering.
Okay.
The sit down
talk to him,
catering
'cause I've been
place,
looking for a
silent
place.
auction, and then their booth is usually right there. But beautiful, beautiful pieces and good people. Also, Jimmy Allen's wood toys, toys for children, obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
Trains, cars, they make beautiful Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Grinch will be there. If anyone's a Grinch person, the Grinch will be there on Saturday for pictures and walking around and probably speaking to children and, just having a good time.
It's so funny. My beautiful little granddaughter loves the Grinch.
Uh-huh.
It's the funniest thing, and she can do that face. I'm like, stop that.
Uh-huh.
She's just beautiful, and she can do some of the funniest faces. But she can do the Grinch, and she just loves the Grinch.
Well, the
Isn't
Grinch
that
was
funny?
there last year and had someone walking with him and
Yeah.
everything, and just also a place set up for pictures.
Yeah, I love it. Photo op, we call that. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. I do photography, but you have things like that where you just set it up and let people use their cameras. Because it's just because everybody's got these high-end cameras now on these little things, these phones in our pockets, and so it has really made it easier than because I can remember when my kids were little and you wanted to get those photo ops. You had to go to the mall and all that. That era is gone, man. We can do high end photography out of our pockets now.
exactly.
It's so fun.
Well, there's many other booths that I have not been able to mention.
Well, we've got
Flowers
some
by
time, yeah.
Terrell.
Those beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. And we're gonna let's pause for a second. We've got them in here for the hour. And we're going to just talk about all the things that are going to be going on at the sampler because we want to make sure that you don't miss it. You see the signs around town. I'm so glad y'all put those signs up. I told Danny Ashley yesterday we got to talk a little bit about Driving Miss Daisy. I'm going to remind you guys about the play because it's opening Friday this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. Let me just go ahead and kind of mention that real quick. But Driving Miss Daisy, it's going to be awesome. It's at the Coopertown Middle School at their theater. They normally work at the Innovation Academy, but there's renovation going on there. And so they're using the theater at Coopertown Middle until that renovation is done. But it is going to be a wonderful production. We had the cast in yesterday. And so the opening night is Friday night, 7 p.m. They'll have a 7 p.m. on Saturday. And then the matinee is this Sunday, November 3rd. So you want to be sure and get to this. It's going to be a wonderful time. I think I'm going to go to the matinee on Sunday with Muriel. We were mentioning Muriel. We're going to try to get that done. But just, there's so many fun things going on. You can go to the sampler Friday or Saturday and hit the play then that night. What are the hours while we're thinking about that? What are the hours of the sampler? What time does it close?
Or for Friday night, for the premiere night, is 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And Saturday is 8:30 to 4.
8:30 to 4. So you close earlier on Saturday then. So you could absolutely
Open
make it to
early,
the play.
close
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, you could absolutely make it to the play this weekend for sure. And so just so what a fun weekend just to kick off really the holidays. I'm not a big Halloween person. I do Halloween because I have grandkids and all that, but I don't like all that darkness that people bring into it. But so I get through Halloween and the holidays start on November 1st for me. I mean, it's like, let's go. Let's get ready and gear up. I just love I like the holiday trilogy. It's like you give thanks, then you praise the birth of our Savior, and then you praise the day of redemption when you get a new start every year. It's that holiday trilogy, and for me, it starts on November 1st as I build up to give thanks. And this is a great way to kick it off. Is just enjoying things like the sampler. They're reunions. You see everybody. I was teasing. As soon as we sat down, we were talking about Muriel's one of my best friends, and I went with Muriel to the chili challenge for Open Door the other day, and it's like every 2 feet she was seeing people she hadn't seen in 20 years. It seemed like. Well, the sampler's the same thing. If you've not been in a while and you grew up here, oh my goodness, it is a reunion. You see everybody, and it's just one of those events you don't want to miss. You want to get by there. So you feel like it looks like you want to say something, Norma. You got something?
No. I'm going to share in a minute about the silent auction.
Oh yes, of course. Okay, that sounds good. Well, this would be a good place. I said I was going to pause and take a break, and then I got to talking about driving Miss Daisy. But let's go ahead and we'll pause and do our break. But I will say this right now. We'll go ahead. I've got a pair of tickets. So the first person
For Saturday.
I have a pair of tickets for Saturday. They will be for you at the door that's facing the church, but it's the first person that comments, I want the tickets. And I will look at the timestamp on it. I want the tickets, but please make sure you can go on Saturday. Pam Champion, me. Well, Pam, I guess you've got them. I technically said you had to put I want the tickets, but we'll count that. Me, she was waiting. They know we do this.
Yes.
We end up giving away a set of tickets, and somebody was sitting there waiting, weren't you, Pam?
Way to go, Pam.
You got them, Pam. They're yours, and they'll be at Will Call for you on Saturday. Well, that was quick.
There's nobody that supports Robertson County any better
Then Pam.
than Pam.
Well, there you go, sis. They're yours, darling, and that's wonderful. But while we're, so the tickets are gone. So just that was quick.
That's great.
That was so funny. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about our friends over at Highland Rim Speed, or not Highland Rim. It's Veteran Motorplex at the Rim. We always have to mention Highland Rim Speedway because the way you find out what's going on at Veterans Motorplex is by following them at Highland Rim Speedway. They kept that social media presence whenever Jerry took over the racetrack, but it's Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. Got to talk about the Highland Rim though because it's historic. When I had Mayor Vogel in here one day and we were talking about just some of the greats that have raced on that track. It is one of those kind of tracks that's been around a long time, and if you've not been out there, oh my goodness, it is beautiful. They have done some really nice work doing the renovations out there. It looks great, and it is a good time. They had kiddos out to do trunk or treat this past weekend. They've already done it, so moving on from that. But normally typically the season ends end of October. It runs March to October, but because they had about a 6-week late start because of all the renovations, Jerry said, we're going to try to race a couple of weekends in November just to make up some of the races. So it's looking good for this weekend. It's looking good for the next 2 weekends. So you've got a little bit of a reprieve to get out to the races before they're over. Now, I mean, we're just getting to that point where he's going to have to shut it down, get on into the holidays, and they'll restart in March. But if you want to get to the races and if you've not been, get out there. It is so much fun. I cannot say enough about getting to the races. Something I had no idea was so much fun. I don't really know much about racing, but it's exciting to watch those cars fly around that track. And it's a beautiful track. It's a 1/4-mile high-banked asphalt bull ring, and it's fun for the whole family. A $40 ticket will get your whole family into the racetrack unless you got more than 6 kids. You can get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for one $40 ticket price. Gates open at 4:30. You can go after the sampler to the racetrack. Gates open. The racing start about 7:30. They always have fun events for the kids. They'll do big wheel races, fun things like that. Great concession stands, so come hungry. And you'll see a lot of the young kids, the young teenagers working their first summer job, coming up to the end of their summer job. A lot of them have worked at the racetrack. Some of my students as well there in Greenbrier. But it is one of the best kept secrets in Robertson County. If you've not been to the races, get out to Veterans Motorplex at the Rim, the old Highland Rim Speedway. Follow them at Highland Rim Speedway. Get to the races before you have to wait till March, y'all. You got a couple of more weeks to do that. And be sure and let Jerry know when you add $1. important stuff, Norma? When does all that happen?
Our silent auction is made up of each club donates an item or a basket or whatever, minimum value 150.
Wow.
So each club does that.
Yeah.
I will share on to kind of get your interest going. I know the DAC basket is a Nutcracker theme, which will include tickets to the Nutcracker
Oh, my
in
good-
Nashville.
Oh my goodness.
So that'll be a fun thing to bid
Yeah.
on. Caroline, you want to tell about the Wednesday Study Club?
Wednesday Study Club donation is going to be a tray and also a kind of like a dough bowl
Okay.
from Brown's
Woodwork.
Woodworks.
Okay.
Brown's Ford Woodworks.
Okay.
I've seen the pictures.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So each club does that.
Mhm.
Then each vendor that is there donates an item from
Okay.
their booth
Oh, fun.
that is sold, and then individuals share. And I will share that a local gal who grew up here, Cindy Lyle,
Mm-hmm.
is donating one of her drawings, Christmas Santa.
Oh, fun.
It is just fabulous. And she donated that last year, and she's donating another one this year too.
Okay.
Then also we have around town all the businesses that donate an item
Mm-hmm.
that's sold. And so the bidding starts when the sampler opens
Okay.
on Friday night.
Okay.
And then it ends at 3:00 on Saturday.
Okay. So it's the entire time. That's wonderful.
Right.
Okay. But because that's one thing so you're gonna have to get on in there Friday night and figure out what you want, and then get back in there on Saturday and watch your bids.
Right.
And I bet there's a lot of people that hover, don't they? Around
There will
those.
be a sheet
Okay.
placed with the item.
Okay.
You write your bid on the sheet, and there's also be an area part on that sheet where there is the mark in the value of the item will be there. What it would be sold for would be there, but if you want it and you don't want to wait for the bidding,
Okay.
you can almost like name your price.
Oh.
Isn't that right?
So
Read that. Good.
like there would be a minimum opening bid,
Okay.
and then what you bid, and then a buy it now price.
I couldn't think of
If you want to
Oh.
not wait till the end and you want to pay a higher amount,
Okay.
then you can get it then.
Okay. So there is a buy it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like eBay.
Yeah.
eBay.
Oh,
I thought you were going
sure.
to say you could put your maximum bid, and stuff like that, but it's a buy it now.
Yes,
So,
that's
okay.
right.
And I mean, and it's going to be a bid that I'm sure will be one that will be a fundraiser minded bid that you can
Right.
pay extra if you want to walk away with it. Right? I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Norma and I did the silent auction last year. I just could not think of the terms
yep.
that we had used.
Right.
She did a much better job.
Y'all are so funny.
We had a good time.
Y'all are so funny.
I will say we have lots of Federation women who volunteer
Mm-hmm.
to work this. We sell the tickets at the door. We work the silent auction. We work the Federation booth, which is the bakery
Mm-hmm.
part, and price everything. We also give away a quilt.
Oh, okay. You know,
And-
I had forgotten about the quilt.
Yes.
If y'all can get me a picture, I'll put that up. If y'all can send me a picture of that, I'll post that in comments, because the
We
quilt's
can.
always fun. I've got a friend of mine. One of my most faithful follower listener is my friend Paul Rainey, that's on here every morning with me. Everybody sees him in the comments. They're like, "Where's Paul?" If he's not on there, people don't even know him. But his wife is a quilter, and I mean, exquisite stuff she does. She just does beautiful quilting work, and so I always love to share with her. I was like, "Look, it's going to be. It's a sampler, And because I mean, it's always a beautiful quilt.
It is. This
I've
year's.
got it right here. Where should I?
Do you
send
have
it?
my phone number?
I don't think so.
615
Okay,
I tell everybody my phone number because if you need to be on the show, text me. Don't call me.
Yeah,
615.
I'll message you or email you.
Just send it to me in a text. 615-594
Okay, hang on.
7736. 615-594-7736. Feel free to text me if you want to be on the show, if you have something you want to share, but don't call me. I've just pretty much disabled my phone where it doesn't even ring anymore because I'm either on the radio or in class. So you have to text me. So 615-594-7736. But text me and tell me who you are, and then I'll get back with you. But that's the best way to get me if you want a slot on the show, and we'll get that picture of that quilt and we'll get that posted. And I may be able to do it before we leave here. But you know, it is so much fun. But there's so many things with you talk about. You said something that made me think about something I really want to I want us to kind of open up and talk a little bit more about, because you talked about the history of what do we call the house?
The Glen.
The Glen. It was escaping me. The Glen, and all the different clubs that are there. And you mentioned the Federation. Okay, who is that specifically? Is that all the clubs together?
Yes.
Okay.
All the clubs form the Federation.
Gotcha.
And we have a Federation board
Okay.
of officers and representatives from each club.
Okay.
And they govern what goes on at the club. And they are the
bylaws, things like that. Yeah.
Right. We have certain rules that were in Ms. Glen's will
Okay.
that we adhere to
Mm-hmm.
and are glad to adhere to.
Right. Try to watch hitting the desk. That's rattling a little bit. You hesitate. I wish my friend Lee Marie is so good. She comes in and does her show, and she tells everybody, don't hit the desk before. For some reason, it just wants to rattle a little bit, so I hate to interrupt you.
No.
But you kept saying Federation, and I thought that's what it meant. But you figure she had this in her will that we want this done, this done, this done. Just like I have things in the deed on my property that I have certain things that are in the deed that I have to do a certain way. That's, and you have to respect that. And so I think that's wonderful. I think that's what she knew what she wanted to do, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah.
And they had no children.
Oh, that, yeah.
And
this
so
is her legacy.
they knew early on they were very active in the community. Her husband was, what was his first name? Glenn. And they had the Doolin Glen store in Springfield, and they had something to do with the woolen mill too.
Okay.
And so they were successful, and they were very much part of the community, and that's why she left the house to the women's clubs of Springfield and the library.
Okay.
I will share this. Speaking of the library, she was a member of the Short Story Club.
Mm-hmm.
And just this past year, the Short Story Club has put out beside the Glen a little library box where you can take a book
Oh, fun.
or share a book, and that's pretty much done in memory of Miss Glen. Because
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I love that. I love this quilt is beautiful. I've got the picture up. I'm going to try to put it into, I'm going to try to put it in comments. If I do, Paul, you got to make sure Mary sees it.
it is
He knows-
beautiful.
Because she's like in quilting clubs and all that. She's just an amazing seamstress. But I would love for her to see this. But it is a beautiful quilt. I'm going to see if I can't figure out a way to get this posted here, guys, in just a second. I'll figure it out. I'm trying to my dear friend and the president of Ebenezer Broadcasting, Ilya Maldonado. He is always wanting me to switch cameras and go from my camera to y'all's camera and all this. I'm like, Ilya, I can't. I get too distracted. I can't do all that at one time. And he just, I know. I wish I were more disciplined, brother. But I'm trying to multitask when I kind of like to talk and I like to get into my conversation. So while I'm trying to figure out how to post this, so tell me this though, can you kind of unpack what the different clubs are about? Because I want to be a part of the Short Story Club so bad. And I don't have, they meet, of course, when I'm in school and things like that. And there's a limit. Isn't there like a certain, because I know my friend Ace Timbermeyer, I think is part of the Short Story Club now.
Yes.
And when she told me she was in it, I was so jealous Because I mean that's a coveted membership. I mean, and some of these have some limits, but that one has limits, right? And I know Bill Jones has come and told stuff and done it. I love Bill. And is it
Yes.
open to men and women, or is it just a women's club? Because a lot of these are just women's clubs.
It's just a women's club.
Oh, how about that? The girls.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Got
love
our
it.
own.
I love it. Tell me a little bit about some of these clubs.
You mentioned the short story club. Now you could belong to the short story club because they meet late after. They meet 3 or 3:30 on Wednesday afternoons.
Okay.
So they have a lot of teachers in that club.
Okay.
And like I said, that was the club that Ms. Glenn was a member of. Caroline and I are both in the Wednesday study club.
What is that? What is
we
the
meet-
Wednesday study?
We
study
meet
club?
for lunch. I like that because I like going out for lunch.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, obviously.
Yes.
Y'all are funny.
We have
of course.
programs. Recently, Kay Bagby shared all was going on at Adams with the Spirit and the Smoke play. We have things that are going on around town, music programs, just interesting programs. We do have a set number that we can have in the club.
Oh, on the Wednesday study club?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's maybe 32,
Yeah.
something
All,
around that.
all clubs are invitation only clubs.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody's interested, we welcome knowing that you are interested in that club. You might like to be a part of it.
Okay.
The DAC, which is the Daughters of the American Colonists, it's the Clay Lick chapter. We are a very small group. I'm in that club too. And to qualify to come into that club, you prove your ancestry, and it is a generation past the DAR. The DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution.
Because when you mentioned that, I was like, what? The colonists. Okay.
The colonists goes back one
okay.
generation past the
Okay.
DAR.
Okay.
Probably the DAR is our largest club,
Mm-hmm.
and they just do so much to promote patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
They do the school essay contest, the Good Citizenship Awards. They are very, very active group.
Well, and they came in when we did Constitution Week, and
Yes.
we're talking about specifically. And I got the sweetest little thank you note from them yesterday too, for coming. And that was so sweet. I wish I were better at doing notes like that. That was just so sweet and unexpected. But they were talking about ringing the bell on Tuesday, I think, that week, and it was just so special. And I really enjoyed that visit. But yeah, there's so much to just remind us what our country's about, man. It's just
They do. They do a
Yeah.
wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
The Century Club meets on a Tuesday night. I think it's the second Tuesday of the month. They are a fairly large club too.
Which one is it again?
Century.
Okay, what is that all about?
It's a lot like the short story or Wednesday study clubs in
Okay.
that they have programs of interest, community, history, musical programs,
Okay,
things like that.
okay.
That club used to be the 20th Century Club. My mother-in-law was a charter member of that club, but now we've moved to the Century Club,
There you go.
not just 20th Century
There you
Club.
go.
And then the RCCW is made up of career
What does that
Professional
acronym
women.
stand for? RCCW.
Robertson County career women.
Okay, okay.
And a lot of women that are in business
Mm-hmm.
in Springfield. It's a night meeting because, of course, they work
Right.
in the day. And they are a very active, supportive group, too.
That's one Amy Corbin's been. She's like, LaVern, you need to be a part of that.
Yes.
I miss that. You know, we have not been doing. I've just got to give it a nod to Miss to the Corbins. I love them so much. Haven't been talking a lot about them because we stopped their ads for winter last year, And I've been so busy with the farm up in Kentucky, going back and forth up there after my mom passed. I just got to kind of say that caveat. Just because I haven't been talking about the Corbins doesn't mean I don't love them. And I need to encourage you to get out there and be a part of everything they're doing, because they are just a wonderful family, and she's part of this. And
Oh,
normally
yes.
it's Miss Amy that calls me and says, "Hey, we need some sampler time, LaVern." And just miss you. I miss you, Amy. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go out there and just visit one day with her just to catch up. But she's always encouraging me to get involved in one of the clubs, and that's the one. She's like, because she's in that one, right?
Yes, yes.
And,
And she was sampler chairman 2
Yes.
years ago, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
She did a great job.
and she came in and handled that. But then last year, she was the one that called me and said, we're sending the chairman, I think what it was. So I was expecting to hear from her again this year. And then you called me. But hi, Amy. I'm sorry I haven't seen you in forever, but I will get out there. But and you'll see her at the sampler. She'll be all over the place. But that's wonderful. So the career women, did we miss any of the others? Or is that about
I think
it?
that's all.
Okay.
But each club individually does a community project or donates money or supports. I know recently we took up in one of my clubs for the open door pregnancy. We took up items for them. Clubs are active in the Springfield community.
Oh, for sure.
So,
For sure.
but the whole deal of the sampler is to maintain the Glen.
right.
And we feel like that's something we do for Springfield. What a pretty historic area we have.
Hmm.
And the Glen is a beautiful, beautiful home.
It is. It is absolutely spectacular. And I can remember whenever I first got here, I didn't really know. I was like, the Glen, what in the world is that? Well, now you know. And I love sitting in this seat and doing this show because I learned so much about my community. I've always been, now that I'm teaching in Robertson County, it's a different story. But until, I started doing the show and started teaching, I was always commuter. My life was in Nashville, but I lived here. And a lot of you who do that don't do what I did and just kind of keep your head in Nashville and not realize what's going on around you. We have got an amazing community. So many wonderful things going on. Amazing people. This is why people are coming here in droves. That's why they're coming here big time. And you guys are going to have a crowd this year, I think. Well, you always do. What kind of do you know how many attended last year? Do you have numbers on things like that? I wonder.
Not in front of us.
We have numbers, but we don't have them.
Yes. But it's a lot of folks, and just can't say enough about getting out to the Christmas sampler. It's this weekend, y'all, because guess what? November 1st is Thursday on Friday night. I mean, we're into November. As I said a while ago, let November 1st be the place where you start the number one. Stay out of the darkness on Thursday night. Stop. Don't put that dark stuff in your kids' minds and in their hearts, and just stop it. Let them be Ariel and all the fun things. My grandkids are going to be elves on the shelf, all three of them. And I think that's going to be hysterical. My daughter-in-law's sister just does she's just awesome at dressing up the kids. And she dressed up when we just had my oldest grandson, she dressed him up as a Walmart greeter. Still probably my favorite costume, because that child, he little bitty thing with his gray hair and his glasses and his name tag pushing a little cart. And it was the funniest thing. It was the cutest outfit. And they're going to be elves on the shelf. And then my little granddaughter, we had the championship. Oh, my grandson, runners up in the fall ball championship out at Mount Juliet. We had a great time last night. But my granddaughter was running around in a Supergirl outfit. That's what Halloween's supposed to be about. So I'm just going to encourage you, don't touch that dark stuff, guys. Be the light. Enjoy trick-or-treating and all those things. But then on November 1st, start the trilogy of holidays. And I got this from my old boss, Glenn Beck. He talks about the trilogy of holidays every year at this time. As you go into Thanksgiving, it's about giving thanks. And then as you approach Christmas, think about the birth of our Savior, that new birth, and then that new fresh start we get every year, because our lives are lives of redemption every single day when you wake up. Praise God for the redemption of every single day. But I love that concept of the trilogy of holidays. I think it's beautiful. And a lot of people struggle during the holidays. I work in the recovery community. I'll be at Epiphany tonight for Celebrate Recovery. And we'll be there. We'll be at Madison tomorrow night for Celebrate Recovery. We meet the people that struggle through these times. Don't let that be your challenge. Get involved in groups that can help you through that. And I think if you'll preface this entire season as you step into it on November 1st as the trilogy of holidays, give thanks, give praise for the salvation we have through Jesus, and then give praise for that new start and that story of redemption we have every single day. And of course, as the new years you head into it, I think it'll change your perspective on the holidays, and it'll just be all full of joy. And this is a great way to kick it off with our Christmas sampler. Really the first Christmas market, whatever you want to call it, in the area. And, you know, we always kick off, but our Christmas parade will be coming up really quickly too. You know, our Christmas parade here is always one of the first things. And I'm not really sure what the date is on that. I need to get on that. But that we're really the first Christmas parade in the area too. And I love that. And it's at night. And that's always fun because they light it up. So we're the best. Robertson County, we are the best. We just love it. So this is a good place for me to pause and do my ad. I just had some things I wanted to unpack there because of the season we're in. But what we'll do is I want to do my ad, and then we're going to come back and we're just going to kind of recap the hours, what's going on, some of the key items that we've been talking about as we make our way out. We've only got about 10 minutes left, ladies. We've done really well, haven't we? It doesn't take long.
You've done well.
It doesn't take long to fill the time. We're like I tell you, we're just sitting on the porch having a conversation, and it's a lot of fun. We're going to continue our conversation with Norma Beck and Caroline Carter. They're here representing the Christmas sampler happening this weekend. But before we continue with that, let's talk about our longest running full-time sponsor. We love Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. I think Rebecca had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Rebecca. And we are just thrilled to have them a part of our team here with One Street Over, because it's really kind of ironic. I met Barry at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. That's the first time I met him. And that's where we picked up this song, One Street Over, and started kind of thinking, oh, that would be a really good name for a radio show. And of course, One Street Over is an original song from Ridgetop Ramblers that first time I heard it was at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, which is where I met Barry and Rebecca Richards. They're all over the place. They were part of the Exit Realty Garden Gate team for many, many years. But when Barry opened the brokerage office here in downtown, they decided to combine his brokerage office and her agency office and bring you a new branch in the Exit tree, Exit Prime Realty. You'll see them all over the area. This is the same great team, just a new branch in the tree, and you can reach out to Barry and Rebecca. Her number is 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Sellwithbecky.com, buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. If you're somebody that maybe you don't have kids, you got a lot of land, or maybe the kids have moved away, you got some land, want to downsize, you're getting older, she specializes in that and can help you with all the details, and there's a lot of them when it comes to those kinds of situations. Barry's the marketer. Cannot say enough about the importance of having a marketer on your team when you're trying to sell your property, because there's very competitive right now, and you want to make sure it's seen in the absolute best light. Has great photography, videography, the walkthrough tours, the drone footage. People want to know what's going on around them now because we got drones and you can see that stuff. He can make sure that happens and do it so professionally. Reach out to them today. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're cross-Planians. They've been there for nearly 30 years. They're transplants like me, though, from Kentucky. So they also buy and sell the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because, again, they're originally from Kentucky. They've worked all over. So they are just the whole package. Love these folks. Reach out to them today. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. That number again, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always please let them know. Their season. So we're going to have some availability if you're interested in doing some advertising with us. I gave out my number earlier so Caroline could give me that picture of the quilt, which I did post. I could not get it in the comments of the radio show. So if you go to my page, LaVern Vivio, you will see it there. It's beautiful. But my number is 615-594-7736, 7736. Don't call me, text me, and you can tell me if you're interested in, doing some advertising with us here at One Street Over. If you want to come on the show, whatever you need is, you got questions about the sampler, driving Miss Daisy, all the things we've been talking about, reach out to me and I'll do my best to get you some answers. Okay, ladies, one more time. We've got 9 minutes to kind of recap. So let's recap with the hours that we will, Caroline, we'll go to you. What are the hours of the show? So you want to talk to?
Premiere night on
Okay.
Friday,
Okay.
4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Then Saturday, 8:30 to 4.
Okay. And the silent auction is from when to when? Go ahead. Do you want to do that, Norma?
All the hours that we are open, that you can place a bid.
Okay.
It ends at 3 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday so that we can inform people who have won the item
sure.
and start distributing. So
Yeah.
that does end at 3.
Okay.
The Federation booth with the goodies
Mhm.
and my cinnamon bread that
They
you
call that
like.
cinnamon bread.
And it is delicious.
Yes, it is.
We have that open the full time. Usually, say 3 o'clock, we would mark down prices.
Okay,
But
yeah,
last
you know,
year,
You didn't
there,
have
were,
to.
there weren't but 3 or 4 things to even mark down.
Oh, how funny.
So go on and buy it.
Yeah.
While you
That
can.
is hysterical that
So-
y'all sold out of all that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's a very popular
Yes.
booth.
Yes, it is. How many loaves are you making this year?
I think I'll share this. Each member of the Federation is asked to bring 6 items
Okay.
for the Federation booth.
Okay.
So, and we appreciate more. So
So you'll just
I
make
may
as
add
many.
a few more.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So
But I know mine last year. The year like I still got some in the back. I guess I may have gotten it from you specifically. I can't remember because I came asking.
well,
for Norma.
we've got some
Yeah.
really good bread makers
Oh
that
yeah.
bring
Yeah.
regular sourdough and different
Mhm.
kinds of bread and
Mm-hmm.
pies and cakes.
I will go through my spells where I will dabble, and I like messing with sourdough and stuff like that. I just have not had time the last year and a half or so, and I absolutely love sourdough bread. And does anybody ever? I've made sourdough pretzels before. Ooh, they're so good. They're so
That
good.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I have a
they-
friend that's bringing pralines.
Oh my goodness,
That's a
homemade pralines.
Good seller too.
Oh yes, all that Christmassy stuff. You got anybody that makes old fashioned divinity? Y'all remember divinity?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
yes.
That's something people go, what is that? But yeah.
Well, if somebody's listening this morning and hadn't decided what to make,
That would be good because that's an
LaVern
old
will buy
fashioned.
the divinity.
That is just an old fashioned thing. I guess because this is my first Christmas without Mama. And the things that I would go and look for my mom, that would be one of them.
Yes.
Divinity. So the things that just remind
All of
you.
our moms probably made divinity.
You better believe it. You better believe it. So divinity, anything that's just Christmassy, you're going to find. I know when I looked through the baked goods last year, I'm like, oh my goodness, I want all of it. It's just all so good. So, so we've got that. We've got, again, the premiere ticket is $10 on Friday night. That will get you that sneak peek. If you come just on Saturday, that's a $5 ticket, right?
And the premiere night ticket will get you in on Saturday as
Right,
well. So
right.
keep your stub.
Keep your ticket stub because if you buy that Friday ticket, you're good on Saturday as well.
And then don't forget, on your ticket you buy is the part you tear off to put in the drum for the drawing for the quilt.
Oh, and so you can hang on to that stub and then put it in the barrel when you come back on Saturday.
When you buy your ticket,
Okay.
fill it out, take that in, drop it in the barrel.
Okay.
That your name will be in the drawing for the quilt.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. I had forgotten about that because we had talked about the quilt and I put up a picture of
Yes.
it, but I forgot how you just determine who's getting that.
Right.
Usually the
And-
people at the ticket counter, ticket sales,
Will
will
remind
direct you.
Okay. Remind me who did the quilt. What is the story on how the quilts are done? Is it
Sarah Head has been responsible for getting the quilt
Mhm.
done. Sarah Head from our Wednesday study club.
Okay.
I don't really know who
Right.
does
It's just
the quilt.
beautiful. It's
Mhm.
just beautiful. I had a stack of quilts that my mother had.
Uh-huh.
And I've had them. I've got them all freshened, refreshed, and have a stack of them. And one of my girls, one of my daughter-in-laws, not quite my daughter-in-law yet, but they're engaged. But she picked out a quilt the other day and took it home. And they're so special because my mother loved to collect quilts. Now she didn't make them, but she saw something in them. If you have those in your family, there's something unique you see that just says something to you. And I think that's just a beautiful thing because they're just pieces of they're art. They are artwork. And I had this huge stack of quilts from my mother, and I was like, I don't know what to do with all these, but I'm so tickled. Some of the girls are taking some of them, because I have four daughter-in-laws. So, but bless them, one of my girls, she got overwhelmed with stuff from her grandmothers, and so she's got just you have so many things. So maybe some of them come from families and things like that too, and that have these wonderful stories. But this is a beautiful one. I love the colors, and the colors on this one are the colors that are really popular right now. They really are. The greens and things. It's a color I see a lot of the young people using right now. And there's some orange in the center, but the greens, I see that so much. And the ivory, that's a really popular color. So youngins, this one would be really speaking to you. You need to come and register for that. What are we missing, guys, as we wrap up? We've got just a few minutes here. Anything you think we've missed?
I think Caroline and I both would like to send out get well wishes to Linda Lang, who, with Caroline, is chairman of the sampler this year.
Okay.
She's been in the hospital this week, and so I'm kind of taking her place.
Okay.
That's why I'm here today. And so we just want everyone to keep her in your prayers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, we can absolutely do that. And just can't wait to get by there and see everybody at the sampler on Friday or Saturday. The $10 ticket on Friday night will get you in as well on Saturday. That is a $5 ticket. You will not come away without something wonderful for Christmas, something wonderful to maybe share on your Thanksgiving table. These baked goods freeze beautifully. I mean, your bread last year, I froze it and we used it at Thanksgiving. It's because I still was cooking because before Mama passed, I would make her Thanksgiving dinner and take it up there on Thanksgiving Day. And it was a lot. And so, being able to get some of that stuff made ahead of time and have it in the freezer was just, wonderful. So can't say enough about it. Want to make sure and just remind you to come hungry because you're going to have Witt's Barbecue there. And what was the fried pie place?
CS's fried pies.
So
they do catering too. So they're going to have chicken salad.
Oh, good. Okay.
What else did they have?
Oh, probably pimento.
Yeah, so
I'm
you'll
not
have some
sure.
options other than barbecue if you would rather that. But so come hungry. Be sure and support these vendors. I've been vendors at things before, and you need people to come in and be a part of it. This is one thing too. The minute that the sampler closes, you're already planning next year's sampler, and people trying to get those slots because you only have room for so many so many vendors. That's one thing.
And
being a
fill
vendor
up quick.
Being a vendor at the sampler is coveted. It is one of those things. Some people, that's one of the first things they do is renew for the next year. So if you're somebody that wants to be a vendor, who could they talk to say, what can I do to raise my hand to make sure that I get an option on being a vendor? Because I think you'll probably get that question this weekend. Who would they need to talk to? Chairman?
Well, probably talk to Heather Fisher.
Okay.
Just simply because she is booth chair
Okay.
this year, and someone else will be booth chair next year, but she would be able to pass that on.
Okay. How soon will they have those applications open? That usually opens right at the first of the year, doesn't it? I can't remember. I put them on the spot with a
exactly
question here at the last minute. But I just remember it's a hard thing to get. I mean, if you want to be a vendor, you better get on that quickly.
And the preparations for the sampler is a year-round job.
It is a full-time thing. I mean,
some months are more to do than others, but we have a list starts in January of what needs to be done.
Right. And it is very organized. Can't say it is one of the best run events ever. And at 45 years, It's incredible.
It
It's
is.
incredible. It's iconic. It's one of our beautiful pieces of our history, and you just need to come be a part of it. The Sampler this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Give me the hours one more time. Go ahead, Norman. You want to do it or whichever? Go ahead, Chairman. Come on, Caroline.
4 to 8 on Friday, premiere night. 8:30 to 4 on Saturday. And we want to thank you, LaVern,
Oh, my
for
pleasure.
having us on
Always.
to talk about the sampler.
Oh, it's
We
my
thank
pleasure.
you, and we thank the community of Springfield for supporting us for 45 years.
Isn't that
It's
great?
pretty neat.
We love it. Absolutely. And we're so thankful that